it again!
We're ready to do it again, yay! So,
Anyway.
A- of Galactic. We're here back with the second vlog. The first seems like to be a success, so that is super great. We have been some technical issues again, so we are once more trying to do it properly. So today we have Mikkel, the game director and co-founder, and today also we have Robert. He is the art director and also a co-founder. So as the first part of the vlog, we want to hear where are we in the process of Galactic and what are you working on individually?
Yeah, so actually individually we're working on something together.
Oh, nice.
So right now, as I said in the last vlog, we are working on a new mission type, or actually multiple mission types, but the one we're actually working on right now is a mission type called Motherload, where the dwarves are sent into a cave that is full with minerals that they need to mine, but it's also filled with monsters. So it is going into utter chaos, intense action immediately, mining and trying to survive for as fast as possible. And the new thing that we're working on is a mining head that is sent down with the dwarves that they have to fill up.
Yeah. I mean the cool thing about this mission type compared to what we have what we've had so far is that so far our caves have been quite exploratory and long, and you sort of go into a deep cave system. This one is going to be a much more concentrated and an intense level, because like it's basically one big cave. You land in the center, and you have to get out and mine while monsters just swarm at you, and you have to fulfill the objectives in this new environment.
Yeah, and I think to some of the regular players, I mean, Molly's not gonna be here, so that's gonna yeah, exactly. So that's gonna be a big difference.
Okay.
So you're alone in the dark without Molly.
Without Molly, that seems kind of sad actually. So yeah, you was going to say something or?
I mean, yes, Molly won't be there, but the mining head will be there.
Yeah.
So you won't be alone. You'll have this huge container things coming down. We're even considering having auto turrets on it. So it's just you have this sort of fortification almost in the center, but you'll still be swarmed absolutely, because the monsters really don't like you being there.
So you have some support to kill all the glyphids. While you're mining.
I mean, at least until the container is full, because then it just
pops away.
It just
and then the
flies
drop
back up.
ships comes and get you, or
then
That's the idea,
then Galactic are sending in the dropship to get you out.
okay, super.
First they're securing the minerals,
Minerals.
then the dwarves can come after if they feel like surviving.
Okay. So we have minerals first, then the lives of the dwarfs.
Yes.
So speaking of dwarf, many people really want to know, why are the dwarf talking about this Carl? Is
Carl.
he a dwarf,
yes.
a human?
Well, so it's a bit of, you can say it's sort of like a cheap script writing trick that we are doing. All the lines for the dwarves are written between me and Robert. So I normally write all the, you can say I sketch out all the lines, and then Robert goes in and spiff it up. And actually this is for Carline is something Robert came up with. And so what we try to do with the lines is we try to expand the universe, you can say. We try to give the dwarves, you can say, give them more depth, have them think about things that are outside what is taking place in the caves. So, for example, you have a line like, I wonder what they're serving in the canteen tonight, which sort of tells a story about what is going on outside, or what the dwarves are actually making plans for tonight, right? And Carl, this is for Carl, is a line that the dwarf says when they kill an enemy, and that line, of course, refers to something that happened in the past.
Yeah, Carl is a previous colleague, friend, battle brother, which they basically just every monster they kill is in revenge for Carl. Was the basic idea, really.
Yeah. So in terms of story for Carl, I mean, basically we didn't have any story. We're just writing this up as we go, you can say. And it has been kind of amazing to see how big an impact that line, that single line, this is for Carl, has had, on how much it has made your minds wonder about what was going on here. Yeah, and of course it also made our minds wander.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's hard not to. Okay, the people are really latching onto this thing. Okay, maybe we should consider making something of it.
And of course, I mean,
who knows? I mean, where is Carl? Who knows?
I mean,
maybe
clearly he was
down there.
He was maybe left behind down there. He didn't make it to the dropship when the mission was failing or something like that. Maybe he's surviving down there, Rambo style, all on his own. Maybe he has mutated or something like that. I don't know. Future will tell.
The future will tell. So yeah, if you have any idea, you could maybe try to make some fan art of it. We already seen that Leiria Rose, she had already made a serial rock and stone brother, and where they're standing on Molly with a big drill built into her. So if you also have,
they're really awesome.
Yeah, they're really awesome.
Absolutely.
So you also have maybe some idea who Carl could be, a skeleton or a dwarf living in the caves by himself. Please make some drawings if you have any. So also some other questions you have asked about what the dwarf is led. Some really ask about is there going to be laser weapons in this game, so you can penetrate the glyphs or cut them into pieces.
I mean, short answer, maybe. Because I mean, right now we're still sort of defining the rules of our universe here, and one of my defining rules, at least, is that this is a heavy industrial sci-fi universe, which sort of puts a certain cap on basically how advanced our technology can be. I mean, sure, we're faffing about it in space with rockets and hologram projectors and everything, but it's the kind of technology you fix it by kicking it. You don't fix it by tweaking the flux capacitor in it. It's clunky and old technology covered in engine grease and gunpowder.
Yeah.
So I mean, lasers are absolutely not off the table. But if there'll be a laser, it won't be a Star Trek style phaser at all. It'll be some big clunky power tool thing with a big battery pack, and it might explode in your hands because it's been badly maintained, that kind of thing. So nothing is off the table. We could easily see a plasma drill or something, but it'll be very dangerous to use, and
I think right now we are, as Robert said, we are still in a mode where we are trying to define this universe, defining the rules for it. And in that regard, it makes sense that we try to limit it. We try to keep it low tech and industrial. But then later on, when we are more confident in the universe, when we are more confident in the rules of this universe, we can easily expand on the universe, and then add, say, lasers.
Yeah.
But of course, they will be heavy industrial, not Star Wars.
Pew pew pew
So,
pew.
yeah.
Pew pew
I mean,
lasers.
we're establishing the baseline right now. Where do we start in the universe, and then we can always build on top of that later. But first, we just want the basic equipment for the basic dwarves for the basic missions, and then all that cool shit comes later.
And lasers is a good example because I mean that's just the tech side of this, and weapon side you can say. But also we have, like, of course, fantasy dwarves of dwarves, and how is our take on dwarves? That is also a really important thing for us to define that. I mean, we are not just making standard fantasy dwarves here. We are making something that is our own take on dwarves.
But at the same time, trying to incorporate all these tropes about fantasy dwarves, like one of the questions that's been asked a lot is, are we going to get upgradable beards at some point? And that's a very good question, which a lot of people are asking. But basically, as far as we've been concerned so far, it's more a question of dwarves have very, very heavy hair growth in general. So of course, many of them are going to have huge beards. But not necessarily everyone. If you're toting around a huge drill or a flamethrower or something, maybe you don't want enormous piles of hair close to that.
Maybe you had a big beard, but it's gone now.
Yeah.
Lost in the drills.
Yeah. So maybe you don't have any eyebrows either, or something. But yeah, all of that is totally something we're looking into. But it's also something we're toying with. We also want to subvert these tropes a bit. Yes, the dwarves have heavy beard growth, but they don't necessarily all have beards.
They can shave it if they want to, of course,
Yeah, exactly.
like you can do in real life.
Exactly. Then they grow back in a few days, and then have to shave it again. But yes, that'll be up to the dwarf and the player in question, I'd say.
Okay, super. Those sort of answered my second question. So, as you say, you're building up the baseline with beards and the weapons. So one of the weapons that you're using a lot, that is the pickaxe. You mine with it, but you also kill the small damn swarmers in the cave. So we'll see sort of different pickaxe melee / weapons sort of ish.
Yeah, well, again, another thing that is kind of unique for Deep Rock Galactic is that we said, well, this is dwarves, and normally dwarves, you would imagine a dwarf with a two-handed battle axe fighting with that, and in our take, we say that it's more like about firearms. Big firearms, heavy firearms, but firearms is basically the main weapon that dwarves are going to have. That doesn't mean that we couldn't imagine that they would have better melee weapons or more melee weapons in the future, but right now, the firearms is the focus, and making a first-person shooter, you can say, is the focus.
Also in a technical manner, because I mean, right now we've devoted most time to making the firearms feel really good, and the pickaxe is still sort of fairly basic. At some point later, it's not off the table that we'll do a more in-depth melee system. That's not off the table, but implementing new melee weapons right now would be kind of pointless, because it would still just be the pickaxe, so to speak, with other graphics. And if we want to do a battle axe, then we want to do it properly.
And I think
we're just not there right now.
I think Vermintide is a good example of a game that handles melee combat really well. You also see Dark Souls and stuff like that actually handle it really well. And I think right now it is too big a challenge for us to execute on right now. We need to choose, you can say, our focus areas. And first-person shooting with firearms is our main combat focus right now. But in the future.
In the future,
we're absolutely not done yet.
Until then, you'll just have to use your pickaxe.
Super.
I mean, actually, I could also imagine that the dwarves would have, say, like a poof, like
a kick,
like a kick, or some kind of moves like that.
Yeah. Duke Nukem players will know what we're talking about.
Yes.
Squeeze them with your feet. I think this is the questions for this vlog. So if you like this vlog we have here, please give it a like, and if you dislike, give it a dislike.
And tell us why, so we can improve.
Always tell us why, so we always can become better at doing YouTube stuff as well as game development. So remember to follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and also wishlist, and follow us on Steam, where you also will get all the notifications when we go into release and what the price will be in the future.
Exactly.
So rock and stone.
Rock and stone.
And see you next time.